Production funding for Sports Files is made possible in part by
Infinity of Memphis has moved to Germantown Road, just half-mile north of Wolf Chase Galleria, and is proud to support WKNO for its quality broadcasting and service to our community. Quality and service? No wonder Infinity of Memphis feels at home on WKNO.
the WKNO Production Fund, the WKNO Endowment Fund, and by viewers like you. Thank you.
Today on Sports Files, we go in depth with one of the NBA's all-time greats who just happens to play for the hometown Memphis Grizzlies, Vince Carter. Vince Carter is an NBA legend. He's an 8-time All-Star, a former slam dunk champion, winner of the 1999 Rookie of the Year award, an Olympic gold medalist, college All-American at North Carolina, and a Mr. Basketball winner in his home state of Florida. So in other words, he's kind of a big deal. But in reality, Vince Carter is as humble and genuine a big-time athlete as you'll ever meet. And now he's a member of the Memphis Grizzlies after signing a 3-year deal last summer. As Vince will be the first to tell you, he has been inconsistent with his outside shot so far to this point, and is hoping continued hard work will help him find his rhythm for the team's second-half run. Today, Vinceanity takes over the show. We'll not only explore the team's chances to win it all and talk about what the acquisition of Jeff Green means, but we'll learn more about Vince Carter, the man, what he enjoys to do away from the hardwood, what his upbringing was like in Florida, and what he enjoys about the Bluff City. Today, we dedicate the entire show to the future Hall of Famer Vince Carter, and it's next on Sports Files. Vince, thank you so much for joining us. It's great to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me.
I know Sunday was a great day for you. I know this past week has been a great experience for a lot of people here in Memphis. You got to visit the Civil Rights Museum, or a part of that event going on with a lot of former greats that were there: Jason Collins, Chauncey Billups, Earl of Pearl Monroe, my idol. What was that like for you on Sunday?
It was great, a great experience. Of course, Jason's a former teammate. Chauncey and I grew up together, graduated from high school together. Earl of Pearl is somebody I really respect and look up to, and to just be a part of it here in Memphis and with the significance that it has, it was awesome. I mean, my family enjoyed it as well. What does Dr. King mean to you? I know you're a lot younger, but obviously you know all about the trials and the tribulations and what he's meant as a man. I mean, it's just about opportunity, creating opportunity, and a man willing to do and go the extra mile for others. And it's something I believe in, and I think it's very admirable, because I mean, everybody sometimes just doesn't know how to go about getting what they need or want, and somebody else coming in to, hey, let me lend a hand. I think that's just special, and it's great for our community. So you said your family was here for that. Yep. What was it like for them? And you know, you're still their little boy, so no matter where you are in your career, I mean, wherever you go, they want to be there for you, and to have them here to be a part of it, what was that like? It was great for them, hearing about it, wanting to do it anyway, and it was just great timing. So I was like, hey, I'm going to the Civil Rights Museum. My mom was like, I'm there. I'll be there. Matter of fact, she beat me there. She was already here when I showed up for the event. But it was just a special time, and something that they always cherish, and they've already said they wanted to come back and, of course, bring more people in our family to really experience it. So what's Memphis been like for you? Obviously, you've made trips here with opposing teams, but now being a part of the Grizzlies and a part of this community hasn't been a long time, but what's your sense of it so far? Work-like atmosphere. I mean, I think the grit and grind, they mean that here, and they really support their team. That's what it's all about. Of course, being on the other side, you come in, and the fans are really on you all the time. So to really see it from the other side and see the excitement and the love that they have for their team is just been phenomenal. What's it like for a pro athlete like yourself when you live in a huge city like a Toronto, and then you come to a smaller city in Memphis? Is there a lot of differences for you? Obviously, there's maybe less things to do from a restaurant standpoint or entertainment standpoint, but there's still a lot of things to do. It's not like it's a small city; it's just a smaller, larger city. Right. But there is a big difference. Sports world is. Right. Right. It's very intimate, though, and I think, you know, the downside, which is unfortunate for some of the smaller markets in the sports world, is that you don't get the exposure. And we're slowly earning the respect, because in the beginning of the year we only had one national game, if I'm not mistaken, if not two, and it was other teams you see all the time. And us doing our job, putting the work in right here in this gym every day, winning games, we earn that. So now the small market team ends up on the ESPNs and Sports Center. I'm sorry, Sports Center, but the TNTs or whatnot.
Right.
So it's just the work that we have to do and build to get there, and it's okay. I mean, like I said, it's different, and you kind of can have the work-like attitude and mentality here, because it's not the pressure of the big market and all of the media around, and everything you do or say is kind of scrutinized or under the microscope, if you would. So I think it's easier in that sense, that we can kind of go about our business, and at the end of the day, when you kind of look at that playoff list and you're like, hey man, oh yeah, I haven't seen these guys play, but they're third.
There they are.
Yeah, you know, so that's what it's all about.
I'm sure it's a lot different for different players. Some may want to play for a large market television audience where they're going to always get their exposure, or a large city. There's others that may want the anonymity and maybe not be bothered so much in the public. Obviously, there was something here that attracted you to want to come here towards the end of your career and play with the Grizzlies. I
think the core group, what they stand for, what they're trying to accomplish, and it just fit right for me. That's what I was looking for. I mean, I wanted to be able to come in and just be me, and they allowed me to, you know, I like to talk a lot on the court and throughout the game. You'll see me on the sideline, or pacing up and down the sideline by the coach sometime. I'll just, hey, scoot over, coach, I got to tell this guy something. You know, it's just, you know, I just love the game, and you know, they had an appreciation for that outside of just who I am and what I bring to the table as a basketball player. So it just felt right in our first meeting, and when I met some of the other staff and organization, and then of course, I had a lot of respect for Zach. I've known him for a very long time. Mike, I've been a fan of his for a very, very long time. I think he's a great point guard. So it was easy. It was
natural for you.
Yeah.
I knew you were kidding when you said, move aside, coach, let me do what you do. And I've watched you, I know exactly what you're like. So does that mean, when it's all said and done, coaching?
I don't know. I enjoy the coaching while playing right now. As far as just being a head coach or just a coach in general, I'm still up and down with some days. I'm like, yeah, I think that's something I want to do. And some days I was like, I don't think so. I would definitely love to be behind the camera, talking about the game, explaining the game. So some type of commentating, color commentating, or an analyst of some sort. So that's what I'm kind of weighing and throwing back and forth each and every day.
You've accomplished so much in your career, but the one void is that NBA title. Is this team right now, the way it's assembled, the addition of Jeff Green, is this team capable of winning it all?
I think we're capable. The sky's the limit. We just have to continue to believe it. It's a little luck, the seeding. That's why it's best for us right now to win as many games to get the best possible seed, and you kind of go from there. They've made it to the Western Conference Finals before, so they've had a taste of it. They understand what it takes and what it feels like. So now trying to get over the hump is the next quest. So I think we believe it. I think we've taken the proper steps preseason, the beginning of the season, to position ourselves for the end of the season. And right now, going through the All-Star break is the most important part as far as positioning yourselves, because a lot of guys are thinking 10, 11 days off, where am I going for vacation?
Right, it's a lot different this year.
And that's when things can take for you. So I can imagine what it's going to be like this year. Just thinking prior years, it's like 3-4 days off. That's what everybody's looking forward to. So just imagine 6 days, 7 days off. It's a little different. So you can see teams drop or rise in that short period of time before the All-Star break and after the All-Star break. So this is an important time for us, and I think having a lot of veteran guys on the team who understand that is great for us.
You talked about joining a team that had that nucleus, had veteran guys. You bring a world of knowledge with you to this team. Were they open arms when you first joined them and very gracious and said, Vince, we want to learn from you. You've been there, done that. Have they been like that? It was
a little weird. I mean, of course, when you come to a team and you just want to fit in, but yet in different situations on the court, particularly in training camp, if I would see something and say, yeah, I have a question, and they say, hey, wait a minute, go ahead, Vince. I was like, wait, what?
Right, they would defer to you.
Spotlight's on you, buddy. Go ahead, say what you have to say. I mean, just just so we all get on the same page and kind of understand each other, and it was great. And I think that's helped our team down the line. And it was great for me to be in that position because I enjoy doing it anyway. So
right.
It was kind of like, hey, I'm gonna do it anyway, so you might as well get used to
You're
it. But
natural.
everybody appreciates it, and I don't go overboard with it. It's just pick my spots. You know, you kind of learn guys, learn timing and picking the spots when you lend a helping hand or so on and so forth. So and it's worked out.
The chemistry with this team, and this is before you were even here, is phenomenal. Absolutely incredible. When you add a guy like Green, who is a 17-point per game scorer coming from Boston, obviously somebody's minutes are diminished a bit, and of course a lot of the times it's the situation. Is there any worry about the chemistry, or do you think that he fits in naturally, like you fit in naturally, and everything will go swimmingly the rest of the way?
I think so far so good. I mean, he's a great guy. He understands it. He's come in, accepted his role, and we've all made sure he's caught up to speed as quickly as possible. So he's kind of getting it from every angle, trying to figure it out. You know, it's tough. I mean, the plays are always the same, or pretty much the same everywhere you go.
Right.
It's the terminologies that kind of throw you off. So it's like constantly we're talking, and he sits right beside me in the locker room. So we're always talking about it, and everybody is coming from everywhere. So I think it helps that new player step in and just feel comfortable, and he can just go out there and play basketball. And he's picked it up pretty quickly.
Where are you right now with your game?
Still a little inconsistent for my liking. I'm tough on myself. You know, with a team like this, with bigs that we have, it's our job as wing players when we're open and knock down shots. And I've been a little inconsistent with that. So as far as I know the offense, I know what's expected, where I'm supposed to be, and I know how to help guys. It's just now, just the next step is after the All-Star break is most important. So I just want to make sure I'm ready to go come second part of the season.
And the thing is, we know your work ethic. You're in here banging away. You're going to get it down. You're not one of those guys that I got maybe 3. Who knows? Maybe you'll have more years than that left in the NBA. But obviously, you're not a spring chicken anymore. But you're not looking on your past laurels, and you put the work in, and that's a testament to you, Vince.
Yeah, I appreciate it. First of all, I enjoy the game still. I enjoy coming to work. Now it's not easy every day coming to work, but it's like, once I get here and get going, I enjoy it. If I'm going to come here, I'm going to put my work in and just make sure I'm ready physically as well as mentally, and everybody else at the same time. So when practice is over, I don't mind being the last guy in the gym, getting shots up and just doing whatever, regardless of being the oldest one. When I get home, sometimes it's like, all right, I'm tired.
Right.
I'm going to take a nap, something like that. But it's worth it because at the end of the day, it's for the good of the team.
All right, let's go away from the court for a little bit. What does Vince Carter like to do away from basketball? Let's get to know you a little bit. What do you like? Got some hobbies?
I'm into music, big time. I played in the band in high school. I was a drum major, multiple instruments.
Wow. You came to the right city.
Yeah,
with
for
music.
Sure. Absolutely.
Have you been down the Beale and say, hey, let me jump in with you guys?
No, not yet. I have a saxophone, but maybe later on. Maybe later on, one of these days. But also I'm a bowler. I enjoy bowling.
Well, Mike has his big bowling event every year. So
I've already taken care of Mike.
Oh, really?
Already done.
He's no competition. How good are you?
He's pretty good.
How good are you?
I'm not bad. I enjoy it.
Wow. You don't do a little friendly wagering on the side there, do you?
Hey, whatever they want to do.
What was it like growing up in Daytona Beach?
Hot. At the time, it was a football state, so.
Did you play football?
I did. I was a quarterback. Started off as a running back. Well, I played a little bit of both. So I enjoyed football. I watch it all the time.
Right.
I'm a big fan of the game. The fortunate thing for us is that it was always hot. So Christmas Day, I'm wearing shorts in 80-degree weather. So wow. I'm playing basketball year round, playing football year round or whatever. So spring break, you have the beach. I think I've worn out my love for the beach now because it was always there.
You moved a little inland, right?
Correct.
To Orlando.
Yes,
not
absolutely.
too far away.
Yeah, it's not too far, but it was just I was all about just being out playing sports back in the day.
But when did you decide that, okay, let's go basketball? When did you know you had a future in basketball?
Well, it was weird because at one point, I want to say it was my junior year. At one point, I was in the band, playing volleyball, playing basketball. I was on the football team, trying out the summer because I couldn't play. Of course, band and football, of course, overlap, so I have to play like spring ball. They wanted me to play baseball, which I didn't do, but I was on the track team, which I did high jump and long jump. So they were all back to back to back to back while still trying to keep a 3.0 because I come from a family of educators, all teachers. So it was student athlete.
You better have gotten those grades. You weren't playing those
That's
other
what it was.
things, right?
I could, like my mother didn't have a problem with not letting me go to the basketball game that might have been a big game because, let's say, I had, for all the guys who, after school, big game, let's say, after school, guys that's hanging around the school waiting for the game, I had to go home first, do my homework, and then come back. And if I didn't finish, I would get there. There's been times I got there in the layup line right before the game started because I didn't get my stuff done.
But you're the person you are today because of that, aren't you?
For sure. And as much as I hated it and just like, man, how come all these guys? She's like, well, what are you trying to accomplish in life? Where are you trying to go? And there was no knock on anyone else, but we don't know what they're trying to do. They're trying to enjoy life now. You're trying to enjoy your life later. It's the stuff like that you hear. My mother would always say, and it's like, yeah, I hear you, and now you have appreciation for it. And I've caught myself saying that to my daughter a couple of times. Like, whoa, that's weird. That's what was said to me before, and she gets it.
Do you have any regrets in anything?
I try to put my best foot forward. I try to, one of the mottos I try to live by is think before you act. So I try to think about my situation before I act upon it, and live with your consequences and your results.
Isn't that tough for today now for the young athletes with the social media?
Yeah,
to get yourself in trouble?
Yeah, and I think if guys would just take that little, just think before you act.
That's good advice.
And go use that and just apply it before they send out that tweet or make that comment or whatever the case may be. Send that video or say what they're going to say. Or just the decisions they may make that end up on social media. It can help a lot of guys. And sometimes you think about it and you felt at that moment it was the right decision that could turn out to be the wrong decision, but you can hold your head up high and say, hey, I thought about it first. I made a conscious decision about it instead of just randomly said, hey, this is a good idea and go. Because, coming with the superstardom and being in professional sports comes everything you do is under the microscope. And I think we as athletes in general, not young or old, forget that sometimes because we want to have a normal life, but there's no such thing anymore.
It's impossible. You're one of 3 players in history, along with Dr. J and Michael Jordan, to win the voting, To win the voting for the All-Star game 3 times. You got the most votes, which obviously means they like you. They really like you, Vince. But they also, I think, and it's not like people know you personally. Some do, but they look at you and they see that guy looks genuine. He looks like he's having fun, and he looks like a nice guy. And in the short times I've had a chance to have you on my radio show or just deal with you, you seem genuine. You seem that nice guy. You're not like a fake. Sometimes you see that. What is it about this relationship you have with the fans out there that they love you so much?
I think it's the appreciation. I think, first of all, being at this age, still playing the game. But even back then, I just enjoyed playing. I enjoyed just going out there. Well, let's put that aside. They enjoyed the highlights.
They did.
For one. And I think with that, they say, hey, he's just normal. He enjoys himself. I'm a low-key, out-of-the-way type of person anyway. So sometimes I remember being younger, being out, and I'd be in a club or something and just sit to the side. It's like, man, does he think he's better than anybody? I'm like, no, I mean, I'm willing to talk to you. It's just, I've always kind of been reserved and out-of-the-way type of person. So, it's kind of a catch-22 maybe. I think just because they expect, because, hey, this guy is known and he's a dunk contest winner, won Rookie of the Year, he wants to be in the limelight, and I'm okay with it. I mean, I appreciate it, and I know that comes with it, but I love my private time, and I'm not saying shy, but it will come off as that at the same time.
All right, let's go rapid fire on a few things. Just give me a couple of thoughts. I know you have a few nicknames, but is your favorite Vinsanity, and how did you get it, if that's your favorite? I've read where you have 2 or 3 of them.
I've heard it all.
Air Canada, right, or something like that.
Half Amazing.
Yes, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that was Kenny Smith, and the Vinsanity came in an article in the paper in Toronto, and that's where that caught on. And
which one's your favorite?
I'm just used to it. So I picked Vinsanity because I will say Vinsanity because I'm used to hearing it.
You've had some incredible dunks, and you go back to the Sydney games and all that. Is that the greatest dunk? Which is your greatest?
For me?
Yes.
Probably. Because I still can't believe I was able to pull that off.
Right.
I never in my mind would say, you know what, tonight I'm going to jump over a 7'2" guy. Never. Because I don't think that, I never thought that was possible.
When did you first dunk, by the way? When was your first dunk?
6th grade. 6th grade.
5'8".
I was 5'8".
Were you really?
Yeah.
What was your experience like, again, quickly, in Sydney and representing this great country and winning gold?
It was the best feeling because I've played with the Gary Paytons and KGs and Tim Hardaways and Jay Kidd and some great players.
Right.
And guys that prior to me being in the NBA, looking up to these guys, watching them play. So to get the opportunity to not only represent the country, do something special like that, then watch the dream team stand on the podium with all the Jordans and Birds and Magics and all those, and then have the opportunity to accomplish that same goal, holding the gold medal, is the best feeling ever. But I tell you, more than anything, opening ceremony is one of the most amazing things I've ever been a part of in my life. Yeah, it was just amazing.
That is real competition. The NBA All-Star Game, not so much.
It's just competition.
But we know the success you've had there in the slam dunk contest. By the way, with the slam dunk competition, back then when you were doing it, it was still great. It's changed. What would you do if you could change it right now?
Man, right now?
Yeah, how can you make it better?
I'll just take it back to the original. Take it back to the way it started. Like, mano, your turn. You go do your dunk, show your talent.
Right.
The next, and just keep it rolling.
Why don't the stars want to do it anymore? The big stars. Some do, but most don't.
I think guys are afraid of failure because they're superstars. They aim to win, and I mean, I'm taking a shot in the dark with that one. I just, some guys who are able. I mean, it's an art to dunking, and I think some guys have the ability of jumping real high, dunking real hard, but you want some flair. And you want
have that flair.
You know, you want some spunk, and you want some activity in the air, and a lot of guys maybe don't feel that what they do in the game is good enough for the dunk contest.
Makes sense.
You see what I'm saying? So I think there's a select few of guys who are able to do that. I felt I grew up dreaming that. I used to tape the dunk contest. I used to study it. I was prepared for it. It's like it was that final exam. Absolutely. And I finally got the chance to take that test. That's how I approached it, and I felt that I was able to do that.
I see.
Everybody, I think, because there's a lot of guys in the league that I think like that jump really high and can jump from a long distance, but when you ask them to do tricks, it's a different ball game.
Okay, you're off the hot seat, but we like to end all our interviews with something called 5 for the road. So quick answers, first thing that comes to mind. Okay, 5 for the road. What is your favorite professional sports team? And you can't say the Grizzlies. Any sport.
Ready?
Yeah.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
The Bucks.
I know. That's okay. I know.
Mariota or Jameis Winston? Who should they pick?
I'm a Florida State fan also.
Oh, so you want Winston?
There you go.
Favorite pro athlete of all time?
Dr. J.
Okay. Favorite music? Now you're a big music guy. So
gosh,
what's your genre or something? Give me an artist,
man.
rapper, or singer.
That's tough. I gotta go with jazz.
So will you listen to jazz music before a game, or you're not the kind of guy that does?
I'm up and down with that. It's
Okay.
funny. I ask that a lot. If I don't have the energy I need, jazz won't do it.
You need.
If I'm overly excited and I need to come down, I'll either listen to R&B or jazz.
Interesting. Okay. Favorite movie of all time?
Coming to America.
Eddie Murphy.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Wasn't McDonald's? It was what?
McDowell's.
Okay. And we'll wrap it up with this. Favorite TV show? What do you like to watch? Downtime.
Right now?
Yeah. What are you kicking back and watching?
Law and Order.
Right.
Or NCIS Los Angeles. I don't
There's
know why.
There's like 10 of the one and 10 of the other. Right?
Yeah, I don't. I've seen them all. Every night I was like, oh man, I've seen this before, but I watch it like it's the first time. I don't know why. I can't explain it.
You're the best, Vince.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for
Thanks
joining
for
us.
having me.
Okay, no overtime this week, but it returns next time on Sports Files when I sit down with brothers KJ and Dedrick Lawson, the Hamilton High School basketball stars who have signed to play at the University of Memphis. In addition, my guest will be the TV voice of the Memphis Grizzlies, Pete Pratica. Before we say goodbye, I wanted to touch on a couple of football notes I didn't have time to mention last week. First, hats off to Urban Meyer and the Ohio State University for winning the first ever college football playoff national championship. The fourth-seeded Buckeyes upset Alabama to get to the finals and then took down Oregon for the title. And the Memphis Tigers closed out a remarkable 2014 campaign by finishing 25th in both the final AP and college polls of the season. The Tigers, who finished 10-3, including a win in the inaugural Miami Beach Bowl, have not been ranked in the top 25 since September of 2004. And that'll do it for now. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time.
Production funding for Sports Files is made possible in part by
Infiniti of Memphis has moved to Germantown Road, just half-mile north of Wolf Chase Galleria, and is proud to support WKNO for its quality broadcasting and service to our community. Quality and service? No wonder Infiniti of Memphis feels at home on WKNO.